Now, very first story. 5 persons arrested by Ghanaian security officials aboard a Guyanese ship carrying 21 bags of cocaine worth $50 million have pleaded guilty to the charge of possessing narcotic drugs without lawful authority. The 4 Brazilians and 1 Ghanaian who were arrested on Tuesday, November 19 in Sekondi in the Western region were arraigned before an Accra High Court on Friday, November 22. Their names were given as Miller Ronald, captain of the ship, Percival Kurt, Samuel Monti, Saint Primechard, and their Ghanaian counterparts said Grant. The accused persons, after pleading guilty to possessing narcotic drugs, further explained they could not afford the services of a lawyer to defend them in the case. The court, presided over by Justice C.J. Hwenenya Nuga, an appeal court judge sitting as an additional high court judge, therefore remanded them to reappear on December 13 this year, by which time results of exhibits forwarded to the forensic laboratory for testing would be made available. State Attorney Samuel Esiama Sampong, the prosecutor in the case, assured the court the results of the tests will be made available on the next adjourned date. The accused persons were on board the ship Atia Georgetown, which was intercepted following a tip-off from Ghana's international security partners. The ship was traveling from Guyana. Elsewhere, the Food and Drugs Authority in the Upper West region has destroyed some unapproved drugs that were on sale in WAM. According to the sellers, the drugs could expand the hips of ladies and enhance the virility of their partners. Rafik Silamava reports that though the FDA managed to confiscate the drugs, the 2 men selling the items managed to escape.
According to the Upper West Regional Office of the Food and Drugs Authority, one of its officers bumped into the 2 men believed to be in their 30s, selling 3 products they said can expand the hips of ladies, enhance the sexual performance of men, and increase the amount of blood in the human body. All 3 products, though looked the same, were in 3 different labeled bottles. The FDA officials are said to have questioned the 2 in the open market, only to realize they were clueless about the use of blood pressure monitors found on them. The 2 then took to their heels and absconded. Gordon Nakurugu of the FDA says the matter was reported to the police whilst the drugs were banned. The products were estimated to be worth 2,500 Ghana cedis.
We've reported the case to the police for us to track and know where they are staying in WA here. Then we'll pick all of them. And I think that the people in WA should be very careful. This is the second time we've caught such group of people and they always succeed in running out of us. So the people in WA should be very careful of whatever they patronize. It's like they've realized that the people in WA just buy any product at all. So they come in to deceive us.
Members of the Winchi Municipal Assembly have boycotted its second ordinary session in protest of a delay in the appointment of a substantive MC for the area. The boycott comes after last week's protest by the town's youth over an announcement by the Brong-Ahafo Regional Minister, Paul Evans-Adu, of a new MC nominee, which was later recanted. The members say the lack of an MC is retarding development in the area.
Most of the assembly members had already left before the news team got to Winchi. A few of them, though, were however found still discussing the fallouts of the boycott at the forecourt of the Winchi Municipal Assembly. A former presiding member, Prince Hene, said the absence of a regional minister who is acting MC did not also help matters.
We were fighting for the municipal chief executive. Now, last week we heard of the president nominating somebody to be the chief executive of Techiman. Now it is only Wenchi that is left. Now, what do you know the repercussion or the implication? Now, because the chief executive is not here or is not appointed, there are major political decisions that are not being taken by the assembly, and therefore it is affecting our development. When we were coming to the assembly meeting, our people told us that yes, they reposed in us that we should come and then tell the acting chief executive, that is the regional minister, that immediately he should communicate to the president. I know he's the appointing authority. He should bear with us and then nominate somebody. We are ever prepared to approve his nomination. Anybody that you send to us, we are going to approve, so that the development of Wanchi also goes on.
When contacted, the Municipal Coordinating Director, Mohammed Rufai, expressed surprise at the members' boycott. The presiding member for the Assembly, Joseph Amoako, appealed to the appointing authority to deal decisively with the issue to forestall further deterioration of the chaos. The meeting has since been adjourned until further notice. Next, Kafuya Jume's report.
The Ghana Institute of Engineers, worried about the spate of accidents at workplaces due to a disregard for safety regulations, is asking for stricter enforcement of the laws. Speaking at the 44th presidential address in Accra, its president, Engineer Ben Richard Enieje, said this is needed to curb the frequent workplace accidents, some of which are fatal.
According to the engineer's president, there is growing disregard for safety rules and regulations by employers. In other instances, he says, employees also tend not to be aware of these rules. He cited the recent death of a construction worker after he was crushed by a falling crane he says could have been avoided, and urged organizational heads to make safety and health management a topmost priority.
Indeed, employers have a duty of care to ensure as far as possible the health, safety and welfare of their employees, and also are expected first to formulate formal health, safety and environment policies. They are expected to identify health, safety and environment risks in the workplace. They are also expected not only to identify but to assess the risks, the impacts that are associated with the organization's operations, activities, products, and services.
He stressed on the enforcement of the laws, as without that, many organizations would continue to flout them with impunity.
Surveys show that about 2 million people are believed to suffer from work-related illnesses, and thousands of deaths can be attributed to occupational illness, including some of the cancers, respiratory diseases each year. Enforcement of health and safety industry is made difficult as a result of inactivity of factory inspectorates, the agencies with responsibility to enforce health and safety laws in Ghana. And unless this trend is reversed, we will continue to see the low level of health and safety consciousness with a resultant low safety culture and costly accidents in the industrial sector.
Engineer Bernard Richard Enieje also asked his colleagues to exercise a high sense of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. The theme for the celebration is safety, health and environment management, the engineer's responsibility. Matilda Womega's report for Joy News.
The first phase of the Awoshi to Pokwasi Road will now be completed by February 2014 instead of the original November 2013 date. The delay has been attributed to modifications in the original design of the project. The modifications will cost government an additional $2.5 million in the first phase and another $5 million in the second phase.
The project is funded by the Government of Ghana, the African Development Bank and the Agence Française de Développement. Once completed, it would ease traffic congestion in the western part of Accra and connect suburban areas like Anya and Ablikuma to Awoshi. The first phase of the 15-kilometer stretch from Awoshi Junction to Anya is about 92% complete, whilst the other stretch from Anya to Pokwasi is also about 67% done. Though the road construction is ongoing steadily, officials say they have to deal with the challenge of swamp treatment, rock blasting, amongst others, one of the reasons for the delay.
Safety issues on the road, which were not part of the design, we have to make sure we put footbridges, we do traffic lights so that we don't have another N1. They send us a court on the N1. So we have learned our lessons. We'll never do any design without putting the rounds for them, because it's going to be a very good road and very busy one as such. People coming from Takrady, the Cape Coast will pass here to Kumasi. People come from Kumasi from the north will bypass Accra and pass this way. It's going to be a very busy road.
Another component of the project involves the construction of schools, health facilities and water supply systems.
Social intervention aspects in terms of economic generation is key to poverty reduction. We believe that markets, if you have car terminals, one, the assembly will take some revenue from that to support other infrastructure, and even maintenance of certain road networks and other facilities.
The Urban Roads Department is said to have meanwhile sent a proposal to reallocate some funds meant for the community development and upgrading projects to help speed up the completion of the road. The French ambassador to Ghana and the resident manager of Agence Française de Développement were satisfied with the amount of work done so far.
And France has very decided in upgrading its relation to reply and to say, yes, we are with you and we will continue some projects like that.
We are actually very impressed. The work is actually slightly ahead of the planned schedule. We have been able to overcome some of these difficulties, and we believe that we are on track for cutting the sod for the completion of the work sometime in the course of next year.
The Awoshi-Pokwasi road stretch and the community development project is expected to be completed by year-end 2015.
Hectares of forest reserves is under threat from the activities of charcoal producers and loggers. Participants at a National Forest Forum in Dodowa have therefore charged government to enforce the country's forest laws and regulations to halt further depletion of the resource. They also called for stiffer punishment for persons engaged in illegal chainsaw lumbering.
The dwindling contribution of the sector to the country's foreign exchange reserves over the years was cited as one of the concerns. But even more worrying is the fact that the once vibrant sector is now struggling to meet the demands of local manufacturers of furniture and other wood products. For the participants who gathered at Dodowa, which boasts of one of the few reserves, there may not be much to boast of by 2025 if there are no efforts to curb the rates of decline. This was contained in the communique issued at the end of the conference.
Participants were concerned about the way permits are issued for forest resources to be harvested. We have observed over the years that even though our resources are dwindling, we are not making any effort to put a cap on the volumes that are harvested. We have annual allowable cuts, but over the years we continue to exceed the limits that we ourselves have put on it. So we are asking government to speedily work to streamline the allocation of permits. The other thing that we want to draw attention to is the issue of charcoal production. It is one of the key things that is depleting our resources, but there isn't any coherent policy on how we produce charcoal and market it and even transport it. There is a policy in the offing, but we believe that there should be wider stakeholder consultation, and they should put more fire into it so that we quickly deal with this menace of charcoal production before we lose our forests entirely.
Officials also called for an educational program among the forest-growing communities to sensitize them on the dangers of deforestation.
In the course of our what we have come across is this issue of illegal chainsaw activities. This has been an issue. And also forest encroachment. That is the communities who go into the forest. Some even go and farm inside the forest. So our education is we sensitize them on the need to how to protect or manage the forest so that the whole forest is not degraded. So in fact, our work specifically has been sensitization and also building their capacity on the need to protect and manage the resources.
They also entreated Cabinet to approve the public procurement policy for timber products and enact appropriate legislation to back its implementation.
Fortis Equity Fund Limited, the company at the heart of the controversial sale of Merchant Bank, has described as unfortunate the brouhaha surrounding the transaction. The sale has caused quite a stir, especially among some who believe the country could have gotten a better deal. The minority in Parliament has described the sale as a scam, and the executive director of think tank Center for Freedom and Accuracy, Andrea Wuni, is in court in an attempt to stop it. In its first reaction to the controversy, however, the company said they consider as unfortunate that such a normal transaction between a private Ghanaian company and SNIT and SIC Life should attract such levels of misrepresentation. Fortis, in its statement, sought to assure the valued customers and other stakeholders of the bank that they have taken note of the comments and concerns, and that in respecting normal procedural issues relating to all such transactions, it will in the next few days address what it describes as the obvious misunderstandings and misrepresentations presented so far.
If they will not...
We have more news coming up after the break. Stay tuned. The Environmental Protection Agency will shortly begin distribution of color-coded rubbish containers to be used for the National Waste Segregation Program. The program, which will begin on a pilot phase here in Accra, aims to make waste management more efficient by encouraging segregation of trash into plastics, organic materials and other forms at the point of collection to facilitate recycling.
Available statistics from the Environmental Protection Agency indicates that the per capita waste generation per person per day in Ghana is about 0.5 kilograms. With a population of over 24 million people, that comes to approximately 12,960 tons of solid waste per day nationwide. Only 60% of this waste is, however, collected, with the remainder improperly disposed of, thereby contaminating and polluting the environment. But the Environmental Protection Agency believes the launch of the program will encourage more efficient waste disposal and recycling.
When we recycle, then the waste becomes an important resource, for it will serve as raw material for some industry. If it is that it's plastic, it can be recycled and used as plastic bags or polytanks or something. On the other hand, if it's paper, it can be recycled and used for toilet roll or any other cardboard or something that paper can do. And if it's organic material like the food residues, cassava peels, plantain peels and so on, it can be composted and then used to improve on soil fertility.
Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Otinije, indicated government believes the waste separation into different waste bins by individuals should be one sure way to handle the waste problem. The segregated waste will be carried away by different vehicles to their appropriate destination for reuse or otherwise. The EPA says it will carry out education and sensitization for people to know how the system works and adhere to it.
The Motor Traffic and Transport Unit of the Ghana Police Service has arrested 8 persons allegedly involved in the sale of fake retro-reflective tapes. The arrest followed a tip-off to the police that some of the reflective tapes being sold on the market were not genuine.
Originally sold at the offices of the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority, the retro-reflective tapes are now available on the market, with hawkers selling them in traffic. But following a tip-off about fake reflective tapes in the system, the MTTU today arrested some persons said to be dealing in the counterfeit product. The suspects led the police to some stores in Abossey-Okai where they reportedly bought the fake tapes, but the shop owners were not available. Commander of the MTTU, ACP Awuni, says the suspects will be arraigned before court whilst investigations continue into the matter.
In the meantime, all those that have been arrested will put before court. We'll put them before court now, whilst we are waiting the arrest of those who are on.
Chief Executive of the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority, Rudolph Berkeley, spoke about the importance of using the approved retro-reflective tapes.
For a motor vehicle to ply our roads in this country, the front must be fixed with retro-reflective tape, white in color, and at the back, red in color. The essence of the fixing of the retro-reflective tape on the vehicle is to ensure that there is visibility even in the night, so that when in the night, that particular vehicle can be visible.
The clampdown on the sale of fake retro-reflective tapes is expected to continue across the country.
The headmistress of the Agotime Senior High School, Sylvia Drafo, has called on government to, as a matter of urgency, complete all suspended projects in the school. She cites construction of a boys' dormitory commenced in 1998, which has stalled, for which reason they have been compelled to convert a 3-classroom block into a dormitory. She fears the situation could get worse if the projects are not attended to soon. Correspondent Komla Ado has more.
Agotime Senior High School, formerly known as Agotime Business College, was established in 1990 as a private community school with a student population of 28, made up of 16 boys and 12 girls. In 1993, the school was integrated into the public system and granted boarding status in 2006. Agosec now has a student population of 1,054. In spite of the population growth, the school's infrastructure has not seen much growth. Academic work at the school is also greatly being hampered by inadequate infrastructure. Sylvia Drafo fears the school cannot accommodate the 500 new students on the school's admission list if the infrastructure is not expanded.
Time now for business. I'm Abigail Adumakwenchi. Now, the managing director of Accra Breweries Limited, Gregory Metcalf, is appealing to government to review the tax regime for local businesses engaged in the manufacturing sector. He made the appeal at a sword-cutting ceremony for work to commence on the expansion of 2 new state-of-the-art packaging lines and a waste treatment plant for the company in Accra. The project is estimated to cost $100 million.
The managing director of Accra Brewery Limited, Gregory Metcalf, lauded government for its support to the local manufacturing sector through the introduction of a policy that encourages the use of local raw materials. The tax regime, however, he said, would have to be looked at again.
There are a number of positive economic impacts associated with this project. It is a win-win situation for us as a business, for the government and for the people of Ghana. We do appeal to government to continue to look at the tax regime, especially on those affecting manufacturing companies, and provide some incentives for local industries. Such a move will encourage business such as ours to continue to exist and provide additional employment avenues.
He noted the project will serve as a source of employment for both skilled and unskilled laborers during and after its completion. The Minister of Trade and Industry, in a speech read on his behalf, lauded the project, adding it would go a long way to boost the country's economy.
The desire of government is to stimulate the rural economy by the use of local raw materials. Therefore, the more local raw materials ABL purchases, the more money our local farmers make. It will serve as an example to other investors to also come to Ghana and invest in the manufacturing sector.
The project, expected to be completed in 24 months, will include a warehouse, material storage areas, an electricity substation, and an ultra-modern office complex. Matilda Wemege's report for Joy News.
Well, away from that, to some issues on the budget, Director of Budget at the Ministry of Finance, Patrick Numo, says it is untrue the 2014 budget has no focus, explaining that it is targeted at fixing imbalances in the economy. At a stakeholder workshop on the budget in Accra, he emphasized the budget is to realign spending in areas that will yield the best returns and consolidate Ghana's middle-income status.
The meeting was to clarify issues arising from the 2014 budget and economic policy read by the Finance Minister on November 19. The Director of Budget at the Finance Ministry, Patrick Numo, insisted the budget was correctional.
The main focus of this budget is to make sure that we realign our spending to the areas where we reap the best results. We have never run away from the fact that we've had challenges with the pattern of our, the categories of our spending, with salaries and wages taking a chunk of our resources, leaving very small for goods and services and operations. We've never denied that fact. What we are saying is that this is the time we should begin to correct that. So if you should want to use your word, yes, we are correct about, it's not correction in the form of something that is wrong that you are correcting. You see, we are saying that we are realigning Yes, we'll continue to spend on wages and salaries. We are not reducing spending on wages and salaries. We'll continue to spend on wages and salaries. But we are saying that that spending should be more efficient.
In spite of the removal of some taxes, there are still concerns about government's penchant to overtax to fund projects. But the Ghana Infrastructure Fund, which is a major initiative in the 2014 budget, he explained, will mobilize resources exclusively for infrastructural development.
The VAT is only one source of funding for that fund. The oil revenue will also contribute to it. We will then leverage that to secure other funding. That fund will then provide some security, some guarantee that we use to secure other funding into the Ghana Infrastructure Fund. So if we put in 1 billion, for instance, we can use that 1 billion to leverage 4 billion to be able to do things that can be done and that needs to be done. And this investment will pay back, within a reasonable time. 4 years, you have completed the project, you have started using it, you see the benefits. There are roads that we have started for years and we have not completed them. There are projects that we all know we have started, we have not completed them. And some of them, if we go back to want to complete them, the cost now will be about 4 or 5 times what we envisage. We have said that we should move away from that.
He added that the government does not intend to overspend, but to realign government's expenditure to areas that will benefit the economy.
Now, Ghana has signed a voluntary partnership agreement with the European Union to export legal wood and associated timber products to the EU market. It is hoped the exports to commence next year will also serve as a disincentive for chainsaw operators and tackle illegal logging in the country.
Ghana becomes the first to sign on to the voluntary partnership agreement of the EU after ratifying it in September 2009. The licensing system under the agreement will allow all timber products covered by the agreement to enter the EU market to be accompanied by a license attesting that it originated from a legal source.
When in EU we import wood products, it's important for us to know that this wood, has been harvested in full legality, so that we know that the origin of the product is good and that it has been managed efficiently for the sustainable management of the forestry resource. So Ghana is leading by example in the question of VPA FLECT agreement to protect the forestry product.
He added that both the EU and Ghana have already built the needed institutional capacity to take off with the VPA, which delayed the signing for years. The EU market remains a major consumer of Ghana's wood products, and hence for government, the benefits of the VPA cannot be underestimated.
If timber is harvested illegally, for instance, chainsaw operators or companies that are into the wood industry, if they go harvest our forest resources in a way that is not approved by the Forestry Commission and do not have the wood tracking systems or the legality assurance systems, or are not issued with a FLECT license, that timber will not go to the European Union. And come to think about it, if European Union is the major consumer of our wood products, and then people who don't comply with the standards can't get access to the market, it will serve as a disincentive for anybody to go and harvest illegal timber.
Ghana, meanwhile, anticipates issuing the Forest Law Enforcement, Governance and Trade FLECT licenses before the end of 2014.
Now away from the forestry industry, UniBank has announced the waiver of charges on current accounts from December 2013. The move by the bank is to attract more individuals and small-medium enterprises to operate accounts with them. The bank's executive director, Wusu Ansavre, announced this at the presentation of prizes to winners of his Dream and Drive Asedankwa promotion.
The UniBank Dream and Drive Asedankwa promotion was launched in August this year and has required customers to maintain an amount of 1,000 Ghana cedis in their account for the period of the promotion. The grand prize of an Evoque Range Rover was won by Barbara Sapon of Babsap Enterprise in Kumasi. The second prize winner, Kwejo Kusi, got an all-expense-paid trip to Dubai with $5,000 spending money. Mobile phones, TV set and cash awards were also presented as consolation prizes. Executive Director Owusu Ansa Awere said the promotion was to reward loyal customers for aiding the bank's growth, adding that they are optimistic the free COT will bring in more clientele.
We are being responsive to the general concerns of the population that bank charges in the industry generally are high. And so we are proving to be as responsive as we've always been with our customers. When you reduce their banking charges, you are invariably reducing their cost of operations and maximizing their profit.
The Dream and Drive Asidankwa promotion is the first of its kind by the bank, and officials say it will be replicated every year.
Well, I'm done here. That'll be it. Do enjoy your weekend.
Joy News Business was brought to you in association with
Lipton, inspiration flowing from nature.
News making rounds in the world of sports, and Deputy Sports Minister Joseph Yasmin has reiterated government's resolve to promote athletics in the country. He was speaking at the launch of the IAAF Nestle Kids Athletic Program this afternoon at the Cross Sports Stadium. The 4-year program is intended to improve the close to dormant athletics calendar and encourage school children to get involved in the sport. We'll hear from the president of the Ghana Athletics Association, Francis Dodo, in a little while. First, though, is Deputy Minister of Sports.
To ensure that Ghana athletics continue to develop to reach international standards, there is the need to pay special attention to youth athletics. It is indeed in view of this that the government has taken steps to reinvigorate the traditional inter-schools and colleges sports competition. In addition to the reinvigoration of the traditional inter-schools and colleges sports competition, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is in collaboration with the municipal, metropolitan and district assemblies to establish at least one well-resourced sports infrastructure in each district to enhance the development of sporting talents of the nation and the youth in particular. I, at this point, declare the Ghana Athletics Association and the International Association of Athletics Federation Nestle Health Athletics project duly launched. Thank you for your audience.
You've seen the equipment that's going to be used. It's very rudimentary equipment. It's very sophisticated. It's not very sophisticated. And so the whole idea is that if you use equipment like this is the stuff that we should be able to build in Ghana, right? So if we do it like this, it should be sustainable in the sense that there shouldn't be a significant cost that precludes us being able to expand it. And so the whole idea is that it's a 4-year program, and we're hoping that we can sort of inculcate it into our system, and then it becomes because the way we actually get all of our sportsmen and women, not just in athletics, in volleyball, and it's been since the 1970s at least that I know, is that we wait for athletes to select themselves onto national teams by playing well for their school or their region or something. And usually at that point they're 16, 17, maybe 15, but typically 16, 17, 18 years old, and they've already formed bad habits. So even though they become our stars, there's an upper bound to how high they can go.
Right, WAFA defending champions Togo lost 3-1 to Senegal in the opening Group B game of this year's tournament this afternoon at the Barbera Stadium. Togo would need to step up in the subsequent matches or might be in the danger of missing out this year's finals as group winners automatically qualify for the finale. Here are some excerpts of the game.
Chekala is a former international, and also for Francois Koto, experienced man in border countries.
And again, that's the first goal for Senegal. Was neatly done there by Sidney Sarr. He stole his way through when the ball was flighted swiftly by Osai Thion. And indeed, Sarr just found a nice way.
That close range, look at it, floated in well, and the number 9 man was there to head down.
Real talent is being exhibited here in today's game. It's now Senegal. Richard Sanya still moving, very strong. Sends it back to the goal scorer, Tala! And he gets the second goal. What a goal! And who's been scoring goals for Senegal? Oh, lovely defensive play coming through from... Crappy play from Togo once again, defense, and a shot to come here. Well, again, top-class challenge coming through from Samodini, but again, the goal scorer will leave it down for Senegal to get a third goal, and this time
he was leading the attack and has been shifted to the right flank.
Long run here from Mani Sapo, and still going very strong. Mani Sapo! Additional island on time here. And it is now Togo with a chance here. Baduru! Yes!
Okay, so now we round up our build-up series to season 7 of the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament scheduled for this Saturday at the LX Stadium. And we turn our attention to General Shipping and Trading Services, who tell us they have been spending some time training on water. Interesting.
In fact, the ship that is carrying my footballers just docked at the Tamaport, and we have sent OA bus to go and... No, do you know the meaning?
No, I don't know.
We are going to overcome. We are killing the game on Saturday. Yes. Our players will not be seen because they have to be in water. So we have rented a nearby swimming pool where they are going to be in the water. As soon as the referee is ready, you see them appear on the pitch. I am justice and I am playing. Whoever says Ronaldo is white, whether we see any white Ronaldo on the pitch, we shall see all black Ronaldo.
I'm going to do my best. I'm swimming my way from port to hour to score goals, to crush everybody we meet.
We are targeting Shell and then Gassem and then multimedia.
No, multimedia is in fantastic shape. You have to be careful. You have to be very careful.
Okay.
I'll be there, the Mazua. But yes, but I'll still play. I have 3 goals.
3 goals on the day?
Yes. At first match, within 5 minutes. Then I sit down.
5 minutes?
Yes.
That's serious.
But I'm telling you.
So how have you been doing training?
We've been training all the time, every weekend, every day. We stay on the sea.
This is Aquamarine.
We're just waiting for you. Aquamarine Stars. Brother, they're singing Aquapono, so
okay, let's take a final word.
Okay, so yes, now everybody has made the noise.
Yes.
And we are going to show them what we have tomorrow.
Oh, exactly. But tomorrow everybody else is going to see, how exactly it's going to... We're all going to get to see how exactly it's going to pan out. Because people are making a lot of noise and being a lot of noise
We've been quiet. We've given them the platform to make all the noise. There's a lot going on. Let me tell you something. Look, I mean, Israel is in fantastic shape. I saw him train this evening. And... he's going to be striking tomorrow. I don't know what you should expect on the day. I'm telling you, the least he can do is 4 goals per game. I mean, that's from what I saw and the way you're training. You are in fantastic shape, man.
See, I've been doing this for the past 1 month.
1 month?
Just in preparation for tomorrow.
You see, you guys don't have an idea. I can't disclose it. That's it.
Don't say. Don't say.
And I'll be just playing number 7, even though I have a little, injury. I hope to get better tomorrow.
We'll heal it. So make sure
you're not going to do the trademark thing. You're not going to do the trademark. We're going to be chesting some balls. Are you going to try to do that for me? All right, so that's it. Now tomorrow, where you find us. That will be all with sports. My name is George Adi Jr. He'll be joining us with international news. Have a great good evening.
Certainly, good evening.
Sports was brought to you in association.
Now, although the Ghanaian film industry is not known to be heavy on fiction, it appears filmmakers are gradually departing from that genre. Most of the new films being produced are inspired by true stories. Perhaps the start of a new chapter in the local movie industry.
The Ghanaian film industry has since its inception produced films that have told different stories.
Because more probably
most of these stories have been works of fiction, with a few being inspired by real life stories.
I said I need to report a stalker, and you're not taking me serious. What's going on there? Whoa! My superstar! What are you doing here? Wow! Just like you look on TV.
But the latter is not really common in our part of the world. The current crop of filmmakers, however, are beginning to venture into producing films based on real life stories. One such movie is Nkuli the Masked, The movie, which stars James Gardner, Nana Kiado, and singer-turned-actor Paulina Ojo, will premiere at the Silverbird Cinema in Accra on the 29th of November.
The shark better prepare to throw us out now. How far you want me to take this wickedness? Are you mad? Stop putting us through all this suffering. That alone is not enough. Now you want to make my sister your sex toy.
Former President Rawlings is expected to attend the premiere.
Senegalese-American R&B artist Akon has arrived in Ghana ahead of Saturday's big eruption concert at the Accra Sports Stadium. Akon will be sharing the stage with 4 other acts from Ghana, Nigeria and the USA.
The R&B singer and his crew arrived at the Kotoka International Airport Friday afternoon to headline the Guinness Big Eruption concert. The R&B sensation is expected to thrill patrons who will be at the Accra Sports Stadium tomorrow evening. The Guinness Big Eruption concert will also feature artists like Michigan-based rapper Big Sean, Nigeria's Wizkid, and Ghanian dancehall acts Samini and Shatta Wale. The event promises to deliver an exciting, unforgettable, and an out-of-this-world experience, so you would want to make a date and be there.
Anytime when you want come, you know a rude boy ever ready. You want come for the right come.
And that's it for Showbiz. That's it for the bulletin. Before we go back, quick run through our top stories. 5 persons arrested in connection with recent high seas cocaine bust plead guilty. Institute of Engineers worried about the spate of workplace accidents call for stricter enforcement of rules and regulations. Conservationists warn the country's forest reserves could be depleted in the next 20 years unless serious efforts are made to halt it. Company at the heart of controversial takeover of Merchant Bank describes commentary about the transaction as unfortunate. Then in business, Ministry of Finance rebuffs suggestions the 2014 budget lacks focus. That'll be all. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Israel Live.